Yeah, I think he's got a certain arrogance about him, and that could be because he made a ton of money and doesn't really need to be doing this and that type of stuff, and he really thinks down of myself. But that's all right, when we get in the ring, I really just want to hurt him, and it's quite simple. That's what boxing's about.
Tim Tszyu is done showing respect, and with a fiery promise to destroy Errol Spence Jr., he is ready to prove that arrogance has consequences on July 25.
Man, I've put a lot of work in, and I truly believe in myself, and I know what I'm capable of, and I feel like it's there for the taking.
He might be a future Hall of Famer, Joe, but we saw the vision. He's a tosser.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
What happened to the handshake?
Yeah.
Come on, mate.
Look at
A bit
this.
of respect.
Listen, I'm gonna let him know what you said. When he gets into I'm telling on you.
Did that make your blood boil?
Yeah, it did. It did. Even watching that, and I've watched it how many times because it's on all the time. I get quite angry. See there?
You were filthy.
I was just my knuckles were ready. I was like, that's it, man. We're on.
What a day it shapes as. July 26th. It's been billed as the biggest fight card in Australian history.
The tension began when Errol Spence Jr. refused to shake Tim's hand, explaining he could not respect a fighter trying to retire him while he is planning to take over in front of his own fans.
The timing in the moment, and man, we're gearing up for coming into his own country. He's looking to retire me, and I'm looking to take over in his country and disappoint him and his fans. So I just feel like, and I told him I'd shake his hand and give him a hug after the fight. But right now, it's about war. It's wartime. It's time to go.
Did you feel war before you got in there?
That's all right. That's if we're gonna play like that, that's all right. Like everyone's each to their own. I get how it is. I'm good. I'm sweet with that.
Tim Tszyu's trainer Jeff Finich reveals the changes behind their partnership, explaining how the improvements they made could create the perfect roadmap for a shocking fight night performance.
I've always watched him and thought, wow, this kid is going to be the greatest Aussie fighter. Yeah, he will surpass me and his dad. I've always thought that, and I still think that he's going to have the opportunity to do that. And I don't know, it was just, like I said, there was a lot of back and forward going on between me just saying what I believe. That's just me. If somebody asks me something, I just say what I feel. So I said that a few times. Then one day Tim approached me. We had a talk, and I've been in camp with him for just over 8 weeks now. It's been the most amazing 8 weeks of my life, watching this guy give 200% every day. He's gonna shock the world, and he's gonna do everything that I thought he'd do before.
Speaking on the matchup, Robert Garcia criticized Errol Spence Jr. for skipping a tune-up fight, believing recent struggles and personal tragedies made a comeback against him even riskier.
To me, like I said, I don't want this to be like I'm saying that's exactly what's going on, because I don't know. Maybe he's sharp, maybe he's strong, maybe he's fast, and goes out and puts a beating on Tim Tszyu, because he's got the skills to do it if it's a fresh Spence. But if a fighter's coming back after a few years layoff and a beating that he took, car accident, drinking problems, coming back straight into a big fight the way he is, and it's a dangerous fight, I want to believe that it's because he thinks that he might not have much left.
It is a super interesting one, and Tim seems to be the guy that is the one that does the unknown. So like background, no one really had quite across who he was going to face in the other corner. We found out he was a bit of a killer. Obviously, Josh Kelly was able to piece that puzzle together, but I feel like Tim led the way on that. I mean, Errol, no one really knows, like you just said, what Errol's coming back, but Tim Tszyu's going to put his miner's light on and trek straight into the fire. Like it just seems to be the way that he goes, to his detriment at times. Would you advise Tim to take that fight if you were his team?
Yes, for the reasons I just told you. A fighter coming off a long layoff. It's been a few years already since his very bad loss to Spence. Coming back straight into a big fight like that, there's a lot of questions there. So I definitely, plus Tim Tszyu's been active. He's had a few fights
On the other hand, Terrence Crawford is backing Errol Spence Jr.'s comeback, making it clear that he is rooting for his former rival and believes Spence can come away with the victory.
Take it easy, big dog. You got anything in closing? Anything we didn't have?
Nah. Just I'm definitely a fan of boxing. You know, I'm gonna be in Australia. I'm gonna be.
I know you're gonna be over there. Yeah.
I'm gonna be supporting Spence, rooting him on.
Yeah.
You know, I just like to support, fighters in his own right. I done been in Boots' locker room supporting him. So yeah, it's just crazy how the tables turn. When people get to a certain plateau and they forget about things like that.
We picking Earl? I'm picking
Of course.
Of course. Sean and Sean?
Of course.
Yeah.
Shot better.
Breaking down the matchup, Sean Zittel explained how both fighters bring styles that could shape the outcome. He pointed to Tim Tszyu's fight against Sebastian Fundora, where Tim struggled to deal with the lead hand at times. According to Zittel, Tim is very economical with his punches, but he believes Errol Spence Jr. has faced tougher competition and carries a more accomplished resume heading into this fight.
Attributes as a welterweight, which was being the bigger man, although Tim Tszyu's not a big guy. And Tim Tszyu's been making the weight a minute, but he's not a big guy making the weight.
Right.
At their best, I feel like Tim Tszyu punch for punch is a sharper fighter. I feel like he has just punch for punch. Like Errol is more of a busy volume, break you down behind an excellent jab kind of guy, body head. Tim Tszyu's more economical. He doesn't throw with as much volume, but he's sharp. I think Tim has a little bit better reflexes to him at his best, but he was never as decorated or as accomplished as Errol was. And you look at Fundora, who's a giant, but Fundora's constant lead hand, it pelted Tim Tszyu and took advantage of him.
Now that Tim has responded to the disrespect, he plans to use it as fuel on fight night. Sean Zittel also highlighted another key moment from the press conference, where Errol Spence Jr. suggested Tim was trying to live in his father's shadow, a comment Tim clearly took personally. Zittel believes those emotions could become dangerous if Spence manages to exploit Tim's mistakes and force him into fighting with frustration instead of patience.
Something about our character that we've been through, and he pressed Tszyu's button when he said, you're trying to fight to get out of your daddy's shadow, and you're not the caliber of your dad. And that really pissed Tim Tszyu off and made him say, I was just trying to give you a handshake and a hug because this is really the last fight of your career, but basically to hell with it now. Right. And I think Spence is the bigger guy. I look at how active lead hand of Fundora, who's obviously much bigger than Spence and younger than Spence, how that really gave Tszyu problems, as did the length of Bakram. And you would think of Errol Spence, if he's in good form, can take advantage of some of those things with more work rate.
Stepping into the discussion, Sean Porter believes he is seeing the classic Errol Spence Jr. return before this fight. Porter feels Spence is bringing back the old school mentality by building a real rivalry and embracing the challenge of fighting Tim in his hometown. He expects Spence to win and believes that, aside from the Terrence Crawford loss, Spence has consistently shown greatness and will remind everyone of that on fight night.
Classic Errol Spence, wanting to go over to Australia to beat Tim in his own land, his own city, in Australia, his country, whatever the case may be, is one would refer to that as being ballsy, but it's Errol Spence. That's just who he is, I'm inclined to believe that Errol Spence beats Tim Tszyu because I feel like there were prior to a fight with Terrence Crawford, I feel like he would have beat Tim Tszyu, and I think that, to me, I don't believe that much has changed in that amount of time. He has taken a tremendous amount of time off.
Many people in the boxing community are picking Errol Spence Jr. to win, believing his comeback will be a successful one. Tim Tszyu and his team, however, insist they are preparing to shock the world on fight night. Still, Tim Bradley is not convinced. He strongly criticized Tim, claiming his best days are behind him, and suggesting he no longer has what it takes to win this matchup.
Errol Spence know what the hell he got to do. Errol Spence is the master of the basics. He know what the hell he got to do. Ain't nothing going to change. He going to let them hands go. He going to take it to Tim Tszyu, and Tim Tszyu is one of those guys, stand right in front of you. He ain't one of them guys that pick up his feet and move. Nah, Tim Tszyu little brother better than him. He better than him. Tim Tszyu brother probably be whooping his barn. Yeah, he be whooping his ass. I already know he do. He a lefty. He be moving his side. You know what I mean? Like, I know he be whooping his ass in the gym for real, but they don't be talking about it. But yeah, I think Errol Spence, I think he gonna beat Tim Tszyu. He gonna knock him out. Tim Tszyu is done. He 31 and he done.
Bradley believes years of punishment have left Tim vulnerable. He argued that being knocked down multiple times has taken a serious toll on his body, leaving him without the physical edge he once had. In Bradley's view, Errol Spence Jr. is going to take advantage of that decline and hand Tim a tough, one-sided defeat when they meet in the ring.
Too much wear and tear. He got his ass knocked out a couple of times. You know, mentally, he seemed like he's strong mentally, right, and he wanted, but his body is not out. It's not responding. You know, like be. You know, a lot of big knockouts and wars for Tim Tszyu, man. He get hit too much. You know, and that's what happens when you get hit too much. Your time, hey, is up real fast. Yeah, your career shortened like a mug. So I got Errol Spence in that fight. But it's good to see Errol back, man. I miss Errol, for real, man. You know, he looking a little bit like Bob Marley, Errol. Bob Marley got them damn little dreads in his head and stuff, man.
Things look very different from Tim's side. His trainer, Jeff Finnich, believes the comments Errol Spence Jr. made about Tim and his father will be answered inside the ring. Finnich says those who think Tim cannot punch like his father are about to be surprised. After months of training together, he believes Tim has made major improvements and is now ready to deliver the best performance of his career.
An icon been like Tim?
It's been great. It's been great. We started off in Thailand, and then we finished back here. It's been hard work, you know. I'm always the guy that always goes hard out, so Jeff's been trying to slow me down to a little extent, but it's been great. It's great energy, and it's good.
What have you seen? Sorry, what have you seen working with him up close? That maybe, I mean, you've always seen him from a bit of a distance, but seeing him up close, what have you noticed?
Like I said, I've been blessed. I trained with his dad, sparred with his dad. When people say that he can't punch like his dad, it's just him getting in the positions right now and doing a few things that we've changed, and they're all going to get a shock. Like I said, it's been...
Despite the motivation and the arrival of a new trainer, Tim Bradley is still sending a brutal warning. He predicts Errol Spence Jr. will stop Tim before the final bell. Bradley believes Tim's tendency to stay on the back foot and keep his distance shows a lack of confidence. In his view, Spence will recognize that weakness and take full advantage of it on fight night.
You're gonna stop your ass, Tim Tszyu. Yeah, the battle of the veterans. That's it, man. Errol is a vet. He's a damn vet, man. He been through a lot too. You know, he only got stopped one fight. I mean, you know, as far as, you know, in the ring, not a whole lot of traumatic experience besides that Crawford one, you know, but he took the right appropriate time off. That car accident, that's a big thing. That alcohol definitely is a big thing, but other than that, I think he might be better off. I think he might be better off than Tim Tszyu right now. Tim Tszyu just ain't clicking. And everybody got his damn number. Punch with his, he can't take it on the chin.
While many are calling this Errol Spence Jr.'s comeback fight, Andre Durrell believes it could instead become Tim Tszyu's breakthrough moment. He pointed to Roy Jones Jr. as upset loss to Danny Green as a reminder that comeback fights can quickly turn into career-changing defeats. Durrell warned that if things go badly, this matchup could have serious consequences and even mark the end of Spence's career.
I feel that, again, the punishment happening, you know, could it be soon? Absolutely. You know, and then, you know, just like Roy, he might not see this in his head, but his brain remembers the kind of punishment he took, you know. So when he get in there and he take them shots, whether he thinks he's ready for it or not, his brain, his screening might not be. You know what I'm saying? So all I can do is hope for the best, man. But, you know, there's nothing special, you know, in regards to his skill set, right? Again, he's just a Kung Fu fighter, and he's decent in what he does. He's a decent boxer, you know, but he is. This could be potentially dangerous. Again, it's 50-50, man. This could be Tim Tszyu's fight, his comeback.
Durrell believes this fight could become a turning point for both careers. In his view, neither man can afford a loss, but the pressure is even greater on Errol Spence Jr. because of everything he has already accomplished. He also suggested that if Spence falls short again, it may be the right time to hang up the gloves after achieving so much in the sport.
Come back, you know what I'm saying, putting him back on the map, and this could be Errol Spence's comeback, put him back on the map. But a loss of both of these boys, even a close fight or the wrong fight, tell us what we need to know about Spence. It might be time for him to hang it up, man. He should have been comfortable with hanging it up right now. He didn't need a win, or he doesn't need a win to sell off into the sunset. You did it all. You know what I'm saying? I think I had a great career, and I'm nowhere near what this man did in his career. You know what I'm saying? So some fighters just got to learn how to come to terms with that, but you can only hope for the best.
For now, the focus is not only on Tim Tszyu, but also on what comes next for Errol Spence Jr. Names like Sebastian Fundora, Keith Thurman, and several rising contenders are already being mentioned. Roy Jones Jr. believes Fundora would be a very difficult challenge because of his unique style and size. Aside from that matchup, however, he still believes Spence has enough left to compete with the rest of the division.
Can he compete against those guys at this point?
He can definitely compete against those guys because one time is about the same age as him, I think, or close to it, maybe a little older than him. And one time's been off for a long time as well. He's had a lot of gaps in his career, so he could definitely compete one time, and one time he's a good fighter. Fundora is a freak of nature, totally different set of rules to climb. Fundora is definitely not the easiest package of that group because he's so tall at 154, so he'd be the one I would say least likely to challenge. But at the same time, Earl is so good at what he does. Earl can get himself back to being Errol Spence. He's going to be a problem for both of them.
Are you still working with him, Roy?
I mean, you know, my door is always open. It's about opening a gym here in Dallas.
Speaking about Errol Spence Jr.'s comeback, Greg Hackett believes many people questioning his readiness are overlooking one important fact. He says Spence never stopped training and stayed in the gym throughout his time away, continuing to work hard and remain in shape. Hackett believes the layoff has actually helped him improve, and he expects Spence to return as a better fighter when he faces Tim Tszyu.
No, for sure. He's been ready. If you've been watching Errol Spence been in shape. He's been moving around and he's been popping out to these fights and shit. He's been in shape. So therefore, he's not just coming back to be in shape. He's coming back to be a better version of himself. You know what I'm saying? So he probably did a lot of moving around, you know, seeing who he can mesh with, at the same time staying in shape, watching what he eat, watching what he do. You know what I'm saying? And working on his game. So coming back, we should see a more educated Errol Spence. I think that's what we'll see.
Adding to the predictions, Zab Judah has made a bold call. He believes Errol Spence Jr. will stop Tim Tszyu in the later rounds. According to Judah, Tim will box smart early and try to stay sharp, while Spence settles back into the fight after his long layoff. Once Spence finds his rhythm, Judah expects him to apply relentless pressure and eventually force a late stoppage.
And I'm predicting that Errol Spence stops Tim Tszyu. 100%.
My boy says stops. Yo, you've been doing good with the stoppages lately, Soup.
I've been doing good, man. I've been on a roll, right? I've been on a roll.
You're calling them stoppages.
A late stoppage. The reason why I picked a late stoppage because Tim Tszyu gonna be very sharp early. He's gonna be looking to fight. He's young. He got a lot of heart. He's ferocious. He has tenacity, and he's gonna come in there and try to make this happen. You know what I'm saying? And I think that maybe for a while because of Errol Spence's layoff and you know the long layoff, he's gonna take him a couple rounds to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But once he figure it out.
Best known for making accurate predictions, Zab Judah has now revealed exactly how he sees Errol Spence Jr. dominating Tim Tszyu. Judah predicts the stoppage will come in the 9th round and says he is willing to have that prediction remembered because he is completely confident. In his view, Spence's pressure, timing, and experience will eventually overwhelm Tim and seal the finish.
In the fight, the big fish will turn back into the big fish and he'll walk Tim Tszyu down and he'll get a late stoppage. I'm predicting around the 9th round, though. Maybe the 9th round. The 9th round sounds pretty kosher to me. I need you guys to keep these tapes. Remember what I said so that when it happened. Remember I predicted almost what's his last boy? From Philly. Boots.
And
I said 4th round, and the 4th round came. This shit was it was almost over, brother. Everybody was like, oh shit. I told you. But I knew it was gonna be a stoppage though. I knew it. Mills said it's going 12 rounds. No way these guys are going. I said, Mills, this shit ain't going no 12. Not with these two kids. They kill us.
Zab Judah is convinced this fight will not last all 12 rounds, and he believes there is a clear reason why. According to Judah, both fighters need to make a statement. Tim Tszyu is competing in front of his home crowd, while Errol Spence Jr. must prove his comeback is the real deal. In Judah's view, that urgency will force both men to push the action, leading to a finish before the final bell.
You know what I'm saying? They are not going no 12 rounds fight. Tim Tszyu is a Errol Spence is a They are going. Errol Spence got something to prove to the world. Tim Tszyu is in his country. He got his whole country behind him. Places where, remember, he was born there, right? He went to school there. He got his friends, his peers. He's not coming in to lose, brother. He coming there to fight. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I predict this ain't going on 12 rounds. No way, Jose. No way.
What happens next will unfold on fight night, but one thing is already clear. The hostility between Errol Spence Jr. and Tim Tszyu has reached a new level. The biggest source of tension has been the disrespect Tim felt after Spence refused the handshake and brought up comparisons with his father. Gervonta Davis's coach Kenny Ellis shares a similar view, believing Tim is not the same fighter as his legendary father.
They keep pushing him because they're thinking of his dad. He ain't nothing like his dad, you know?
Yeah.
They keep pushing him, but he's not his dad. You know?
You see Spence stopping him?
Yeah. Inside 7, 8.
Do you feel like the Charlo fight will be next because of all that tension they got?
Possibility. I don't want to see that fight though. I wish Errol would stay retired, man. You know? He one of my favorite fighters just because of that.
Everything is on the line when Tim Tszyu and Errol Spence Jr. finally meet. Will Tim silence every critic with the biggest win of his career, or will Spence complete his comeback in dominant fashion? Share your prediction in the comments, hit the like button, and subscribe for more breaking boxing news, exclusive updates, and fight breakdowns.